The fifth book of Moses, called Deuteronomy. Chapter 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel, on this side Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plain, over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban, and Hazareth, and Dizahab. There are 11 days' journey from Horeb unto Kadesh Barnea, by the way of Mount Seir. And it came to pass, in the first day of the 11th month, in the 40th year, that Moses spake unto the children of Israel, according unto all that the Lord hath given him in commandment unto them, after that he had slain Sihon, the king of the Amorites, which dwelt in Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, which dwelt at Ashtoreth, in Edrei. On this side Jordan, at the land of Moab, began Moses to declare this law, saying, The Lord our God spake unto us in Horeb, saying, Ye have dwelt long enough in this mount. Turn you and depart, and go unto the mountain of the Amorites, and unto all places near thereunto, in the plain, in the mountain, or in the valley, both southward, and to the seaside to the land of the Canaanites, and unto Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Pira. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in, and possess that land which the Lord sware unto your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give unto them and unto their seed after them. And I spake unto you the same time, saying, I am not able to bear you myself alone. The Lord your God hath multiplied you, and behold, ye are this day as the stars of heaven in number. The Lord God of your fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as ye are, and bless you, as he hath promised you. How can I alone bear your cumbrance, and your charge, and your strife? Bring you men of wisdom, and of understanding, and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. Then he answered me, and said, The thing is good, that thou hast commanded us to do. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise and known men, and made them rulers over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50, and captains over 10, and officers among your tribes. And I charged your judges that same time, saying, Hear the controversies between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him. Ye shall have no respect of person in judgment, but shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not fear the face of man, for the judgment is God's, and the cause that is too hard for you, bring unto me, and I will hear it. Also I commanded you the same time all the things which ye should do. Then we departed from Horeb, and went through all that great and terrible wilderness, as ye have seen, by the way of the mountain of the Amorites, as the Lord our God commanded us. And we came to Kadesh Barnea. And I said unto you, Ye are come unto the mountain of the Amorites, which the Lord our God doth give unto us. Behold, the Lord thy God hath laid the land before thee. Go up, and possess it, as the Lord the God of thy fathers hath said unto thee. Fear not, neither be discouraged. Then ye came unto me every one, and said, We will send men before us, to search us out the land, and to bring us word again, what way we must go up by, and unto what cities we shall come. So the saying pleased me well, and I took 12 men of you, of every tribe one, who departed and went up into the mountain, and came unto the river Eshcol, and searched out the land, and took of the fruit of the land in their hand, and brought it unto us, and brought us word again, and said, It is a good land which the Lord our God doth give us. Notwithstanding, ye would not go up, but were disobedient unto the commandment of the Lord your God, and murmured in your tents, and said, Because the Lord hated us, therefore hath he brought us out of the land of Egypt, to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites, and to destroy us. Whither shall we go up? Our brethren have discouraged our hearts, saying, The people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to heaven, and moreover we have seen the sons of the Anakims there. But I said unto you, Dread not, nor be afraid of them. The Lord your God, who goeth before you, he shall fight for you, according to all that he did unto you in Egypt before your eyes, and in the wilderness, where thou hast seen how the Lord thy God bare thee, as a man doth bear his son, in all the way which ye have gone, until ye came unto this place. Yet for all this ye did not believe the Lord your God, who went in the way before you, to search you out a place to pitch your tents in fire by night, that ye may see what way to go, and in a cloud by day. Then the Lord heard the voice of your words, and was wroth, and sware, saying, Surely there shall not one of these men of this forward generation see that good land, which I swear to give unto your fathers, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh, he shall see it. And to him will I give the land that he hath trodden upon, and to his children, because he hath constantly followed the Lord. Also the Lord was angry with me for your sakes, saying, Thou also shalt not go in thither, but Joshua the son of Nun, which standeth before thee, he shall go in thither. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit it. Moreover, your children, which ye said should be a prey, and your sons, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in thither, and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it. But as for you, turn back, and take your journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. Then ye answered and said unto me, We have sinned against the Lord. We will go up and fight, according to all that the Lord our God hath commanded us. And ye armed you, every man, to the war, and were ready to go up into the mountain. But the Lord said unto me, Say unto them, Go not up, neither fight, for I am not among you, lest ye fall before your enemies. And when I told you, ye would not hear, but rebelled against the commandment of the Lord, and were presumptuous, and went up into the mountain. Then the Amorites which dwelt in that mountain came out against you, and chased you as bees used to do, and destroyed you in Seir, even unto Hormah. And when ye came again, ye wept before the Lord. But the Lord would not hear your voice, nor incline his ears unto you. So ye abode in Kadesh a long time, according to the time that ye had remained before. Deuteronomy chapter 2. Then we turned, and took our journey into the wilderness, by the way of the Red Sea, as the Lord spake unto me, and were compassed about Mount Seir a long time. And the Lord spake unto me, saying, Ye have compassed this mountain long enough. Turn you northward, and warn thou the people, saying, Ye shall go through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir, and they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed therefore. Ye shall not provoke them, for I will not give you of their land so much as a footbreadth, because I have given Mount Seir unto Esau for a possession. Ye shall buy meat of them for money to eat, and ye shall also procure water of them for money to drink. For the Lord thy God hath blessed thee in all the works of thine hand. He knoweth thy walking through this great wilderness, and the Lord thy God hath been with thee this 40 years, and thou hast lacked nothing. And when we were departed from our brethren the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, through the way of the plain from Elath, and from Ezion-Geber, we turned, and went by the way of the wilderness of Moab. Then the Lord said unto me, Thou shalt not vex Moab, neither provoke them to battle, for I will not give thee of their land for a possession. because I have given Ar unto the children of Lot for a possession. The Emims dwelt therein in times past, a people great and many, and tall, as the Anakims. They also were taken for giants, as the Anakims, whom the Moabites called Emims. The Horites also dwelt in Seir beforetime, whom the children of Esau chased out, and destroyed them before them, and dwelt in their stead, as Israel shall do unto the land of his possession which the Lord hath given them. Now rise up, said I, and get you over the river Zered. And we went over the river Zered, the space also wherein we came from Kadesh Barnea, until we were come over the river Zered, was 38 years, until all the generations of the men of war were wasted out from among the host, as the Lord sware unto them. For indeed the hand of the Lord was against them, to destroy them from among the host, till they were consumed. So when all the men of war were consumed, and dead from among the people, then the Lord spake unto me, saying, Thou shalt go through Ar, the coast of Moab, this day, and thou shalt come near over against the children of Ammon, but shalt not lay siege unto them, nor move war against them. For I will not give thee of the land of the children of Ammon any possession, for I have given it unto the children of Lot for a possession. That also was taken for a land of giants, for giants dwelt therein aforetime, whom the Ammonites called Zamzummims, a people that was great, and many, and tall, as the Anakims. But the Lord destroyed them before them, and they succeeded them in their inheritance, and dwelt in their stead, as he did to the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir, when he destroyed the Horites before them, and they possessed them, and dwelt in their stead unto this day. And the Avim, which dwelt in Hazarim, even unto Azza, the Caphtorims, which came out of Caphtor, destroyed them, and dwelt in their stead. Rise up, therefore, said the Lord, take your journey, and pass over the river Arnon. Behold, I have given unto thy hand Sihon, the Amorite, king of Heshbon, and his land. Begin to possess it, and provoke him to battle. This day will I begin to send thy fear, and thy dread, upon all people under the whole heaven which shall hear thy fame, and shall tremble and quake before thee. Then I sent messengers out of the wilderness of Kedemoth unto Sihon king of Heshbon, with words of peace, saying, Let me pass through thy land. I will go by the highway. I will neither turn unto the right hand nor to the left. Thou shalt sell me meat for money, for to eat, and shalt give me water for money for to drink. Only I will go through on my foot, as the children of Esau which dwell in Seir, and the Moabites which dwell in Ar, did unto me, until I be come over Jordan, into the land which the Lord our God giveth us. But Sihon, the king of Heshbon, would not let us pass by him. For the Lord thy God had hardened his spirit, and made his heart obstinate, because he would deliver him into thine hand, as appeareth this day. And the Lord said unto me, Behold, I have begun to give Sihon and his land before thee. Begin to possess, and inherit his land. Then came out Sihon to meet us, himself with all his people, to fight at Jahaz. But the Lord our God delivered him into our power, and we smote him, and his sons, and all his people. And we took all his cities the same time, and destroyed every city, men and women and children. We let nothing remain. Only the cattle we took to ourselves, and the spoil of the cities which we took. From Aroer, which is by the bank of the river of Arnon, and from the city that is upon the river, even unto Gilead, there was not one city that escaped us. For the Lord our God delivered up all before us. Only unto the land of the children of Ammon thou camest not, nor unto any place of the river Jabbok, nor unto the cities in the mountains, nor unto whatsoever the Lord our God forbade us. Deuteronomy chapter 3. Then we turned, and went up by the way of Bashan, and Og king of Bashan came out against us, he and all his people, to fight at Edrei. And the Lord said unto me, Fear him not, for I will deliver him and all his people, and his land into thine hand, and thou shalt do unto him as thou didst unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt at Heshbon. So the Lord our God delivered also unto our hand Og the king of Bashan, and all his people, and we smote him, until none was left him alive. And we took all his cities the same time, neither was there a city which we took not from them, even 60 cities, and all the country of Argob, even the kingdom of Og in Bashan. All these cities were fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, beside unwalled towns a great many. And we overthrew them, as we did unto Sihon, king of Heshbon, destroying every city with men, women, and children. But all the cattle and the spoil of the cities we took for ourselves. Thus we took at that time out of the hand of 2 kings of the Amorites, the land that was on this side Jordan from the river Arnon unto Mount Hermon, which Hermon the Sidonians called Sirion, but the Amorites call it Senir. All the cities of the plain, and all Gilead, and all Bashan, unto Salcah, and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of the giants, whose bed was a bed of iron. Is it not at Rabbath, among the children of Ammon? The length thereof is 9 cubits, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, after the cubit of a man. And this land which we possessed at that time, from Aroer, which is by the river Arnon, and half Mount Gilead, and the cities thereof, gave I unto the Reubenites and Gadites. And the rest of Gilead, and all Bashan, the kingdom of Og, gave I unto the half-tribe of Manasseh, even all the country of Argob, with all Bashan, which is called the land of giants. Jair, the son of Manasseh, took all the country of Argob, unto the coasts of Geshuri, and of Maacathai, and called them after his own name, Bashan, Havoth Jair, unto this day. And I gave part of Gilead unto Machir, and unto the Reubenites and Gadites I gave the rest of Gilead, and unto the river of Arnon, half the river and the borders, even unto the river Jabbok, which is the border of the children of Ammon. The plain also, and Jordan, and the borders from Kinnereth, even unto the sea of the plain, to wit, the salt sea, under the springs of Pisgah eastward. And I commanded you the same time, saying, The Lord your God hath given you this land to possess it. Ye shall go over armed before your brethren, the children of Israel, all men of war, your wives only, and your children, and your cattle, for I know that ye have much cattle, shall abide in your cities which I have given you, until the Lord have given rest unto your brethren as unto you, and that they also possess the land which the Lord your God hath given them beyond Jordan. Then shall ye return every man unto his possession which I have given you. And I charged Joshua the same time, saying, Thine eyes have seen all that the Lord your God hath done unto these 2 kings. So shall the Lord do unto all the kingdoms whither thou goest. Ye shall not fear them, for the Lord your God, he shall fight for you. And I besought the Lord the same time, saying, O Lord God, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness, and thy mighty hand, for where is there a God in heaven or in earth, that can do like thy works, and like thy power? I pray thee, let me go over, and see the good land that is beyond Jordan, that goodly mountain, and Lebanon. But the Lord was angry with me for your sakes, and would not hear me. And the Lord said unto me, Let it suffice thee, speak no more unto me of this matter. Get thee up into the top of Pisgah, and lift up thine eyes westward, and northward, and southward, and eastward. and behold it with thine eyes, for thou shalt not go over this Jordan. But charge Joshua, and encourage him, and bolden him, for he shall go before this people, and he shall divide for inheritance unto them the land which thou shalt see. So we abode in the valley over against Beth-peor. Deuteronomy chapter 4. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the ordinances and to the laws which I teach you to do, that ye may live, and go in, and possess the land which the Lord God of your fathers giveth you. Ye shall put nothing unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye take aught therefrom, that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal-peor. For all the men that followed Baal-peor, the Lord thy God hath destroyed every one from among you. But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, every one of you this day. Behold, I have taught you ordinances and laws, as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do even so within the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep them therefore, and do them, for that is your wisdom, and your understanding in the sight of the people, which shall hear all these ordinances, and shall say, Only this people is wise, and of understanding, and a great nation. For what nation is so great, unto whom the gods come so near unto them, as the Lord our God is near unto us, in all that we call unto him for? And what nation is so great, that hath ordinances and laws so righteous, as all this law, which I set before you this day? But take heed to thyself, and keep thy soul diligently, that thou forget not the things which thine eyes have seen, and that they depart not out of thine heart all the days of thy life, but teach them thy sons, and thy sons' sons. Forget not the day that thou stoodest before the Lord thy God in Horeb, when the Lord said unto me, Gather me the people together, and I will cause them to hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their children. Then came you near, and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burnt with fire unto the midst of heaven, and there was darkness, clouds, and mist. And the Lord spake unto you out of the midst of the fire, and ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude, save a voice. Then he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to do, even the 10 commandments, and wrote them upon 2 tables of stone. And the Lord commanded me that same time, that I should teach you ordinances and laws, which ye should observe in the land whither ye go to possess it. Take therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no image in the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire, that ye corrupt not yourselves, and make you a graven image, or representation of any figure, whether it be the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on earth, or the likeness of any feathered fowl that flieth in the air, or the likeness of anything that creepeth on the earth, or the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon, and the stars with all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath distributed to all people under the whole heaven. But the Lord hath taken you, and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of Egypt, to be unto him a people and inheritance, as appeareth this day. And the Lord was angry with me for your words, and sware that I should not go over Jordan, and that I should not go in unto that good land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. For I must die in this land, and shall not go over Jordan. But ye shall go over, and possess that good land. Take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Lord your God which he made with you, and lest ye make you any graven image, or likeness of any thing, as the Lord thy God hath charged thee. For the Lord thy God is a consuming fire, and a jealous God. When thou shalt beget children, and children's children, and shalt have remained long in the land, if ye corrupt yourselves, and make any graven image, or likeness of any thing, and work evil in the sight of the Lord thy God, to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to record against you this day, that ye shall shortly perish from the land whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days therein, but shall utterly be destroyed. And the Lord shall scatter you among the people, and ye shall be left few in number among the nations whither the Lord shall bring you. And there ye shall serve gods, even the work of man's hand, wood and stone, which neither see nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, when thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, at the length, if thou return to the Lord thy God, and be obedient unto his voice. For the Lord thy God is a merciful God. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers which he sware unto them. For inquire now of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that God created man upon the earth, and ask from the one end of heaven unto the other, if there came to pass such a great thing as this, or whether any such like thing hath been heard. Did ever people hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of a fire, as thou hast heard, and lived? Or hath God essayed to go and take him a nation from among nations, by temptations, by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm, and by great fear, according unto all that the Lord your God did unto you in Egypt, before your eyes? Unto thee it was showed, that thou mightest know that the Lord he is God, and that there is none but he alone. Out of heaven he made thee hear his voice to instruct thee, and upon earth he showed thee his great fire, and thou heardest his voice out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved thy fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and hath brought thee out of Egypt in his sight by his mighty power, to thrust out nations greater and mightier than thou before thee, to bring thee in, and to give thee their land for inheritance, as appeareth this day. Understand therefore this day, and consider in thine heart, that the Lord, he is God, in heaven above, and upon the earth beneath. There is none other. Thou shalt keep therefore his ordinances, and his commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth, which the Lord thy God giveth thee forever. Then Moses separated 3 cities on this side of Jordan toward the sun rising, that the slayer should flee thither, which had killed his neighbor at unawares, and hated him not in time past, might flee, I say, unto one of those cities, and live. That is, Bezer, in the wilderness, in the plain country of the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead, among the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan, among them of Manasseh. So this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. These are the witnesses and the ordinances, and the laws which Moses declared to the children of Israel, after they came out of Egypt, on this side Jordan, in the valley over against Beth Peor, in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moses and the children of Israel smote, after they were come out of Egypt. And they possessed his land, and the land of Og, king of Bashan. 2 kings of the Amorites which were on this side Jordan, toward the sun rising, from Aroer, which is by the bank of the river Arnon, even unto Mount Sion, which is Hermon, and all the plain from Jordan eastward, even unto the sea of the plain, under the springs of Pisgah. Deuteronomy chapter 5. Then Moses called all Israel, and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the ordinances and the laws which I propose to you this day, that ye may learn them, and take heed to observe them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us in Horeb. The Lord made not this covenant with our fathers only, but with us, even with us all here alive this day. The Lord talked with you face to face in the mount, out of the midst of the fire. At that time I stood between the Lord and you, to declare unto you the word of the Lord, for ye were afraid at the sight of the fire, and went not up into the mount. And he said, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have none other gods before my face. Thou shalt make thee no graven image, or any likeness of that is in heaven above, or which is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt neither bow thyself unto them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, even unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Keep the Sabbath day, to sanctify it, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee. 6 days thou shalt labor, and shalt do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not do any work therein, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maid, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, neither any of thy cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maid may rest as well as thou. For remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord thy God brought thee out thence by a mighty hand, and a stretched out arm. Therefore the Lord thy God commanded thee to observe the Sabbath day. Honor thy father and thy mother, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, neither shalt thou commit adultery, neither shalt thou steal, neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's house, his field, nor his manservant, nor his maid, his ox, nor his ass, nor aught that thy neighbor hath. These words the Lord spake unto all your multitude in the mount of the midst of the fire, the cloud, and the darkness, with a great voice, and added no more thereto, and wrote them upon 2 tables of stone, and delivered them unto me. And when ye heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, for the mountain did burn with fire, then ye came to me, all the chief of your tribes, and your elders, and ye said, Behold, the Lord our God hath showed us his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that God doth talk with man, and he liveth. Now therefore why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of the Lord our God any more, we shall die. For what flesh was there ever that heard the voice of the living God speaking out of the midst of the fire, as we have, and lived? Go thou near, and hear all that the Lord our God saith. And declare thou unto us all that the Lord our God saith unto thee, and we will hear it, and do it. Then the Lord heard the voice of your words when ye spake unto me. And the Lord said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people which they have spoken unto thee. They have well said all that they have spoken. O that there were such an heart in them to fear me, and to keep all my commandments always, that it might go well with them, and with their children forever. Go, say unto them, Return you into your tents, but stand thou here with me, and I will tell thee all the commandments and the ordinances, and the laws, which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess it. Take heed, therefore, that ye do as the Lord your God hath commanded you. Turn not aside to the right hand nor to the left, but walk in all the ways which the Lord your God hath commanded you, that ye may live, and that it may go well with you, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess. Deuteronomy chapter 7. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and shall root out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou, and the Lord thy God shall give them before thee, then thou shalt smite them, thou shalt utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor have compassion on them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them, neither give thy daughter unto his son, nor take his daughter unto thy son. For they will cause thy son to turn away from me, and to serve other gods. Then will the wrath of the Lord wax hot against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus ye shall deal with them. Ye shall overthrow their altars, and break down their pillars, and ye shall cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee, to be a precious people unto himself, above all people that are upon the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor chose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, the Lord hath brought you out by a mighty hand, and delivered you out of the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt, that thou mayest know that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy unto them that love him, and keep his commandments, even to 1,000 generations, and rewardeth them to their face that hate him, to bring them to destruction. He will not defer to reward him that hateth him to his face. Keep thou therefore the commandments, and the ordinances, and the laws, which I command thee this day to do them. For if ye hearken unto these laws, and observe and do them, then the Lord thy God shall keep with thee the covenant, and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. And he will love thee, and bless thee, and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb, and the fruit of thy land, thy corn, and thy wine, and thine oil, and the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of thy sheep, in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall be neither male nor female barren among you, nor among your cattle. Moreover, the Lord will take away from thee all infirmities, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will send them upon all that hate thee. Thou shalt therefore consume all people which the Lord thy God shall give thee. Thine eye shall not spare them, neither shalt thou serve their gods, for that shall be thy destruction. If thou say in thine heart, These nations are more than I, how can I cast them out? Thou shalt not fear them, but remember what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh, and unto all Egypt. The great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs and wonders, and the mighty hand and stretched out arm, whereby the Lord thy God brought thee out. So shall the Lord thy God do unto all the people whose face thou fearest. Moreover, the Lord thy God will send hornets among them, until they that are left and hide themselves from thee be destroyed. Thou shalt not fear them. For the Lord thy God is among you, a God mighty and dreadful. And the Lord thy God will root out these nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. But the Lord thy God shall give them before thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction, until they be brought to naught. And he shall deliver their kings into thine hand, and thou shalt destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee, until thou hast destroyed them. The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. And covet not the silver and gold that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therewith, for it is an abomination before the Lord thy God. Bring not therefore abomination into thine house, lest thou be accursed like it, but utterly abhor it, and count it most abominable, for it is accursed. Deuteronomy chapter 8. Ye shall keep all the commandments which I command thee this day, for to do them, that ye may live, and be multiplied, and go in, and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee this 40 years in the wilderness, for to humble thee, and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments, or no. Therefore he humbled thee, and made thee hungry, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know it, that he might teach thee that man lived not by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth a man live. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell those 40 years. Know therefore in thine heart, that as a man nurtureth his son, so the Lord thy God nurtureth thee. Therefore shalt thou keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, that thou mayest walk in his ways, and fear him. For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land in the which are rivers of water, and fountains, and depths that spring out of valleys and mountains, a land of wheat and barley, and of vineyards, and fig trees, and pomegranates, a land of oil, olive, and honey, a land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarcity, neither shalt thou lack anything therein, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose mountains thou shalt dig brass. And when thou hast eaten and filled thyself, thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which he hath given thee. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, not keeping his commandments, and his laws, and his ordinances, which I command thee this day. Lest when thou hast eaten, and filled thyself, and hast built goodly houses, and dwelt therein, and thy beasts and the sheep are increased, and thy silver and gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is increased. Then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, who was thy guide in that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents, and scorpions, and drought? Where was no water, who brought forth water for thee out of the rock of flint? Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, to humble thee, and to prove thee, that he might do thee good at the latter end? Beware, lest thou say in thine heart, My power, and the strength of mine own hand, hath prepared me this abundance. But remember the Lord thy God, for it is he which giveth thee power to get substance, to establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers, as appeareth this day. And if thou forget the Lord thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify unto you this day, that ye shall surely perish. As the nations which the Lord destroyeth before you, so ye shall perish, because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of the Lord your God. Deuteronomy chapter 9. Hear, O Israel, thou shalt pass over Jordan this day, to go in and to possess nations greater and mightier than thyself, and cities great and walled up to heaven, a people great and tall, even the children of the Anakims, whom thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, Who can stand before the children of Anak? Understand therefore that this day the Lord thy God is he which goeth over before thee as a consuming fire. He shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So thou shalt cast them out, and destroy them suddenly, as the Lord hath said unto thee. Speak not thou in thine heart, after that the Lord thy God hath cast them out before thee, saying, For my righteousness the Lord hath brought me in, to possess this land. But for the wickedness of these nations the Lord hath cast them out before thee. For thou entrust not to inherit their land for thy righteousness, or for their upright heart, but for the wickedness of those nations the Lord thy God doth cast them out before thee, and that he might perform the word which the Lord thy God sware unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understand therefore that the Lord thy God giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. Remember, and forget not, how thou provokedst the Lord thy God to anger in the wilderness, since the day that thou didst depart out of the land of Egypt, until ye came into this place, ye have rebelled against the Lord. Also in Horeb ye provoked the Lord to anger, so that the Lord was wroth with you, even to destroy you. When I was gone up into the mount, to receive the tables of stone, the tables, I say, of the covenant, which the Lord made with you. And I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights, and I neither ate bread, nor yet drank water. Then the Lord delivered me 2 tables of stone, written with the finger of God, and in them was contained according to all the words which the Lord had said unto you in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, in the day of the assembly. And when the 40 days and 40 nights were ended, the Lord gave me the 2 tables of stone, the tables, I say, of the covenant. And the Lord said unto me, Arise, get thee down quickly from hence, for thy people which thou hast brought out of Egypt have corrupt their ways. They are soon turned out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image. Furthermore, the Lord spake unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Let me alone, that I may destroy them, and put out their name from under heaven. And I will make of thee a mighty nation, and greater than they be. So I returned, and came down from the mount, and the mount burnt with fire, and the 2 tables of the covenant were in my 2 hands. Then I looked, and behold, ye had sinned against the Lord your God. For ye had made you a molten calf, and had turned quickly out of the way which the Lord had commanded you. Therefore I took the 2 tables, and cast them out of my 2 hands, and brake them before your eyes. And I fell down before the Lord 40 days and 40 nights as before. I neither ate bread nor drank water, because of all your sins which ye had committed, in doing wickedly in the sight of the Lord, in that ye provoked him unto wrath. For I was afraid of the wrath and indignation wherewith the Lord was moved against you, even to destroy you. Yet the Lord heard me at that time also. Likewise the Lord was very angry with Aaron, even to destroy him. But at that time I prayed also for Aaron. And I took your sin, I mean the calf which ye had made, and burnt him with fire, and stamped him, and ground him small, even unto very dust. And I cast the dust thereof into the river that descended out of the mount. Also in Taberah, and in Massa, and in Kibroth-Hattaavah, ye provoked the Lord to anger. Likewise, when the Lord sent you from Kadesh-barnea, saying, Go up, and possess the land which I have given you, then ye rebelled against the commandment of the Lord your God, and believed him not, nor hearkened unto his voice. Ye have been rebellious unto the Lord, since the day that I knew you. Then I fell down before the Lord 40 days and 40 nights, as I fell down before, because the Lord had said that he would destroy you. And I prayed unto the Lord, and said, O Lord God, destroy not thy people and thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed through thy greatness, whom thou hast brought out of Egypt by a mighty hand. Remember thy servants Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Look not to the stubbornness of this people, nor to their wickedness, nor to their sin, lest the country whence thou broughtest them say, Because the Lord was not able to bring them into the land which he promised them, or because he hated them, he carried them out to slay them in the wilderness. Yet they are thy people, and thine inheritance, which thou broughtest out by thy mighty power, and by thy stretched out arm. Deuteronomy chapter 10. In the same time the Lord said unto me, Hew thee 2 tables of stone, like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And I will write upon the tables the words that were upon the first tables, which thou breakest, and thou shalt put them in the ark. And I made an ark of shittim wood, and hewed 2 tables of stone, like unto the first, and went up into the mountain, and the 2 tables in mine hand. Then he wrote upon the tables according to the first writing, the 10 commandments, which the Lord spake unto you in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, in the day of the assembly. And the Lord gave them unto me. And I departed, and came down from the mount, and put the tables in the ark which I had made, and there they be, as the Lord commanded me. And the children of Israel took their journey from Beeroth of the children of Jaachan to Mosera, where Aaron died, and was buried, and Eleazar his son became priest in his stead. From thence they departed unto Gudgodah, and from Gudgodah to Jotbathah, a land of running waters. The same time the Lord separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and to stand before the Lord to minister unto him, and to bless in his name unto this day. Wherefore Levi hath no part nor inheritance with his brethren, for the Lord is his inheritance, as the Lord thy God hath promised him. And I tarried in the mount, as at the first time, 40 days and 40 nights. And the Lord heard me at that time also, and the Lord would not destroy thee. But the Lord said unto me, Arise, go forth in the journey before the people, that they may go in and possess the land which I swear unto their fathers to give unto them. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou keep the commandments of the Lord and his ordinances, which I command thee this day for thy wealth. Behold, heaven, and the heaven of heavens, is the Lord's thy God, and the earth with all that therein is. Notwithstanding, the Lord set his delight in thy fathers to love them, and did choose their seed after them, even you above all people, as appeareth this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and harden your necks no more. For the Lord your God is God of gods, and Lord of lords, a great God, mighty and terrible, which accepteth no persons, nor taketh reward, who doeth right unto the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger, giving him food and raiment. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God. Thou shalt serve him, and thou shalt cleave unto him, and shalt swear by his name. He is thy praise, and he is thy God, that hath done for thee these great and terrible things, which thine eyes have seen. Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons, and now the Lord thy God hath made thee as the stars of the heaven in multitude. Deuteronomy chapter 11. Therefore thou shalt love the Lord thy God, and shalt keep that which he commandeth to be kept, that is, his ordinances, and his laws, and his commandments, always. And consider this day, for I speak not to your children, which have neither known nor seen the chastisements of the Lord your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm, and his signs, and his acts, which he did in the midst of Egypt, unto Pharaoh the king of Egypt, and unto all his land, and what he did unto the host of the Egyptians, unto their horses, and to their chariots, when he caused the waters of the Red Sea to overflow them, as they pursued after you, and the Lord destroyed them unto this day. And what he did unto you in the wilderness, until ye came unto this place, and what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, when the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed them, with their households, and their tents, and all their substance that they had, in the midst of all Israel. For your eyes have seen all the great acts of the Lord which he did. Therefore shall ye keep all the commandments which I command you this day, that ye may be strong, and go in and possess the land whither ye go to possess it. Also, that ye may prolong your days in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers, to give unto them and to their seed even a land that floweth with milk and honey. For the land whither thou goest to possess it is not as the land of Egypt from whence ye came, where thou sowest thy seed, and wateredst it with thy feet, as a garden of herbs. But the land whither ye go to possess it is a land of mountains and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven. This land doth the Lord thy God care for. The eyes of the Lord thy God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year. If ye shall hearken therefore unto my commandments, which I command you this day, that ye love the Lord your God, and serve him with all your heart, and with all your soul, I also will give rain unto your land in due time, the first rain and the latter, that thou mayest gather in thy wheat, and thy wine, and thine oil. Also I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and have enough. But beware, lest your heart deceive you, and lest ye turn aside, and serve other gods, and worship them. And so the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that your land yield not her fruit, and ye perish quickly from the good land which the Lord giveth you. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as a frontlet between your eyes. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thine house, and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children, in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them, as long as the heavens are above the earth. For if ye keep diligently all these commandments which I command you to do, that is, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him, then will the Lord cast out all these nations before you, and ye shall possess great nations, and mightier than you. All the places whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours. Your coast shall be from the wilderness, and from Lebanon, and from the river, even the river Perith, unto the uttermost sea. No man shall stand against you, for the Lord your God shall cast the fear and dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he hath said unto you. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. The blessing, if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day, and the curse, if ye will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods, which ye have not known. When the Lord thy God therefore hath brought thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, then thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim, and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not beyond Jordan, on that part where the sun goeth down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in the plain, over against Gilgal, beside the grove of Moreh? For ye shall pass over Jordan, to go in to possess that land which the Lord your God giveth you, and ye shall possess it, and dwell therein. Take heed, therefore, that ye do all the commandments and the laws which I set before you this day. Deuteronomy, chapter 12. These are the ordinances and the laws which ye shall observe and do in the land which the Lord God of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it, as long as ye live upon the earth. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess served their gods, upon the high mountains, and upon the hills, and under every green tree. Also, ye shall overthrow their altars, and break down their pillars, and burn their groves with fire, and ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods, and abolish their names out of that place. Ye shall not do so unto the Lord your God, but ye shall seek the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of your tribes, to put his name there, and there to dwell, and thither thou shalt come. And ye shall bring thither your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, and your tithes, and the offering of your hands, and your vows, and your free offerings, and the firstborn of your kine, and of your sheep. And there ye shall eat before the Lord your God, and ye shall rejoice in all that he put your hand unto, both ye and your households, because the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. Ye shall not do after all these things that we do here this day, that is, every man whatsoever seemeth him good in his own eyes. For ye are not yet come to rest, and to the inheritance which the Lord thy God giveth thee. But when ye go over Jordan, and dwell in the land which the Lord your God hath given you to inherit. And when he hath given you rest from all your enemies round about, and ye dwell in safety, when there shall be a place which the Lord your God shall choose, to cause his name to dwell there, thither shall ye bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, your tithes, and the offerings of your hands, and all your special vows which ye vow unto the Lord. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God, ye, and your sons, and your daughters, and your servants, and your maidens, and the Levite that is within your gates, for he hath no part nor inheritance with you. Take heed that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place that thou seest, but in the place which the Lord shall choose in one of thy tribes. There thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, and there thou shalt do all that I command thee. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thine heart desireth, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God which he had given thee. Both the unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and of the hart. Only ye shall not eat the blood, but pour it upon the earth as water. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, nor of thy wine, nor of thine oil, nor the firstborn of thy kine, nor of thy sheep, neither any of thy vows which thou vowest, nor thy free offerings, nor the offering of thine hands. But thou shalt eat it before the Lord thy God, in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy servant, and thy maid, and the Levite that is within thy gates. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God in all that thou puttest thine hand to. Beware that thou forsake not the Levite, as long as thou livest upon the earth, when the Lord thy God shall enlarge thy border, as he hath promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thine heart longeth to eat flesh. Thou mayest eat flesh, whatsoever thine heart desireth. If the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to put his name there be far from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy bullocks, and of thy sheep which the Lord hath given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat in thy gates whatsoever thine heart desireth. But as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so shalt thou eat them. Both the unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh. Therefore thou shalt not eat it, but pour it upon the earth as water. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord. But thine holy things which thou hast, and thy vows thou shalt take up, and come unto the place which the Lord shall choose. And thou shalt make thy burnt offerings of the flesh and of the blood upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and the blood of thine offerings shall be poured upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and thou shalt eat the flesh. Take heed, and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee forever, when thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of the Lord thy God. When the Lord thy God shall destroy the nations before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou shalt possess them, and dwell in their land. Beware, lest thou be taken in snare after them, after that they be destroyed before thee, and lest thou ask after their gods, saying, How did these nations serve their gods, that I may do so likewise? Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for all abomination, which the Lord hateth, have they done unto their gods, for they have burned both their sons and their daughters with fire to their gods. Therefore whatsoever I command you, take heed you do it. Thou shalt put nothing thereto, nor take aught therefrom. Deuteronomy, chapter 13. If there arise among you a prophet, or a dreamer of dreams, and give thee a sign or wonder, and the sign and the wonder which he hath told thee come to pass, saying, Let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them, thou shalt not hearken unto the words of the prophet, or unto that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God proveth you, to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul. Ye shall walk after the Lord your God, and fear him, and shall keep his commandments, and hearken unto his voice, and ye shall serve him, and cleave unto him. But that prophet, or that dreamer of dreams, he shall be slain, because he hath spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, and delivered you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way wherein the Lord thy God commanded thee to walk. So shalt thou take the evil away forth of the midst of thee. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thine own son, or thy daughter, or the wife that lieth in thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, Let us go, and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou, I say, nor thy fathers. Any of the gods of the people which are round about you, near unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth unto the other. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hear him, neither shall thine eye pity him, nor show mercy, nor keep him secret. But thou shalt even kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and then the hands of the people. And thou shalt stone him with stones, that he die, because he hath gone about to thrust thee away from the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, that all Israel may hear and fear, and do no more any such wickedness as this among you. If thou shalt hear say, concerning any of thy cities, which the Lord thy God hath given thee to dwell in, wicked men are gone out from among you, and have drawn away the inhabitants of their cities, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which ye have not known. Then thou shalt seek, and make search, and inquire diligently. And if it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought among you, thou shalt even slay the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, destroy it utterly, and all that is therein, and the cattle thereof, with the edge of the sword. And thou shalt gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the street thereof, and burn with fire the city, and all the spoil thereof every whit, unto the Lord thy God. And it shall be an heap forever, it shall not be built again. And there shall cleave nothing of the damned thing to thine hand, that the Lord may turn from the fierceness of his wrath, and show thee mercy, and have compassion on thee, and multiply thee as he hath sworn unto thy fathers. When thou shalt obey the voice of the Lord thy God, and keep all his commandments which I command thee this day, that thou do that which is right in the eyes of the Lord thy God. Deuteronomy, chapter 14. Ye are all the children of the Lord your God. Ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make you any baldness between your eyes for the dead. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a precious people unto himself, above all the people that are upon the earth. Thou shalt eat no manner of abomination. These are the beasts which ye shall eat: the beef, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, and the roebuck, and the bugle, and the wild goat, and the unicorn, and the wild ox, and the chamois, and every beast that parteth the hoof, and cleaveth the cleft into two claws, and is of the beasts that cheweth the cud, shall ye eat. But these ye shall not eat: of them that chew the cud, and of them that divide the cleave of the hoof only, the camel, nor the hare, nor the coney, for they chew the cud, but divide not the hoof. Therefore they shall be unclean unto you. Also the swine, because he divideth the hoof, and cheweth not the cud, shall be unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcasses. These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales shall ye eat. And whatsoever hath no fins nor scales ye shall not eat. It shall be unclean unto you. Of all clean birds ye shall eat, but these are they whereof ye shall not eat: the eagle, nor the goshawk, nor the osprey, nor the glede, nor the kite, nor the vulture, after their kind, nor all kind of ravens, nor the ostrich, nor the night crow, nor the seamew, nor the hawk, after her kind, neither the little owl, nor the great owl, nor the red shank, nor the pelican, nor the swan, nor the cormorant, the stork also, and the heron in his kind, nor the lapwing, nor the bat. And every creeping thing that flieth shall be unclean unto you. It shall not be eaten. But of all clean fowls ye may eat. Ye shall eat of nothing that dieth alone, but thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is within thy gates, that he may eat it. Or thou mayest sell it unto a stranger, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. Thou shalt give the tithe of all the increase of thy seed that cometh forth of the field, year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose to cause his name to dwell there, the tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstborn of thy kine, and of thy sheep, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, because the place is far from thee where the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name, when the Lord thy God shall bless thee, then shalt thou make it in money, and take the money in thine hand, and go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. And thou shalt bestow the money for whatsoever thine heart desireth, whether it be ox, or sheep, or wine, or strong drink, or whatsoever thine heart desireth, and shalt eat it there before the Lord thy God, and rejoice, both thou and thine household. And the Levite that is within thy gates shalt thou not forsake, for he hath neither part nor inheritance with thee. At the end of 3 years thou shalt bring forth all the tithes of thine increase of the same year, and lay it up within thy gates. Then the Levite shall come, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, and shall eat, and be filled, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou doest. Deuteronomy, chapter 15. At the term of 7 years thou shalt make a freedom, and this is the manner of the freedom. Every creditor shall quit the loan of his hand which he hath lent to his neighbor. He shall not ask it again of his neighbor, nor of his brother, for the year of the Lord's freedom is proclaimed. Of a stranger thou mayest require it, but that which thou hast with thy brother, thine hand shall remit, save when there shall be no poor with thee. For the Lord shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, for an inheritance to possess it. So that thou hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all these commandments which I command thee this day. For the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, as he hath promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou thyself shalt not borrow, and thou shalt reign over many nations, and they shall not reign over thee. If one of thy brethren with thee be poor, within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, Thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother, but thou shalt open thine hand unto him, and shalt lend him sufficient for his need which he hath. Beware that there be not a wicked thought in thine heart to say, The 7th year, the year of freedom, is at hand. Therefore it grieveth thee to look on thy poor brother, and thou givest him naught, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, so that sin be in thee. Thou shalt give him, and let it not grieve thine heart to give unto him. For because of this, the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand to. Because there shall be ever some poor in the land, therefore I command thee, saying, Thou shalt open thine hand unto thy brother, to thy needy, and to thy poor in thy land. If thy brother, an Hebrew, sell himself to thee, or an Hebrewess, and serve thee 6 years, even in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty, but shalt give him a liberal reward of thy sheep, and of thy corn, and of thy wine. Thou shalt give him of that wherewith the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy God delivered thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. And if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, and because he is well with thee, then shalt thou take an awl, and pierce his ear through against the door, and he shall be thy servant forever, and unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise. Let it not grieve thee when thou lettest him go out free from thee, for he hath served thee 6 years, which is the double worth of an hired servant, and the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all that thou doest. All the firstborn males that come of thy cattle and of thy sheep thou shalt sanctify unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work with thy firstborn bullock, nor shear thy firstborn sheep. Thou shalt eat it before the Lord thy God year by year, in the place which the Lord shall choose, both thou and thine household. But if there be any blemish therein, as if it be lame, or blind, or have any evil fault, thou shalt not offer it unto the Lord thy God, but shall eat it within thy gates. The unclean and the clean shall eat it alike, as the roebuck and as the hart. Only thou shalt not eat the blood thereof, but pour it upon the ground as water. Deuteronomy chapter 16. Thou shalt keep the month of Abib, and thou shalt celebrate the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib the Lord thy God brought thee out of Egypt by night. Thou shalt therefore offer the Passover unto the Lord thy God of sheep and bullocks, in the place where the Lord shall choose to cause his name to dwell. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it, but 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of tribulation. For thou camest out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest out of the land of Egypt, all the days of thy life. And there shall be no leaven seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days long. Neither shall there remain the night any of the flesh until the morning, which thou offeredst the first day at even. Thou mayest not offer the Passover within any of the gates which the Lord thy God giveth thee, but in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name, there thou shalt offer the Passover, at even, about the going down of the sun, in the season that thou camest out of Egypt. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, and shalt return on the morrow, and go unto thy tents. 6 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread, and the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work therein. 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee, and shalt begin to number the 7 weeks when thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God, even a free gift of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, as the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God, thou, and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy servant, and thy maid, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are among you, in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name there. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a servant in Egypt. Therefore thou shalt observe and do these ordinances. Thou shalt observe the feast of the tabernacles 7 days, when thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou, and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy servant, and thy maid, and the Levite, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a feast unto the Lord thy God, in the place which the Lord shall choose, when the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all the works of thine hands. Thou shalt in any case be glad. 3 times in the year shall all the males appear before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of the unleavened bread, and in the feast of the weeks, and in the feast of the tabernacle, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty. Every man shall give according to the gift of his hand, and according to the blessing of the Lord thy God which he hath given thee. Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy cities which the Lord thy God giveth thee, throughout the tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment. Wrest not thou the law, nor respect any person, neither take reward, for the reward blindeth the eyes of the wise, and perverteth the words of the just. That which is just and right shalt thou follow, that thou mayest live, and possess the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt plant thee no grove of any trees near unto the altar of the Lord thy God, which thou shalt make thee. Thou shalt set thee up no pillar, which thing the Lord thy God hateth. Deuteronomy chapter 17. Thou shalt offer unto the Lord thy God no bullock nor sheep, wherein is a blemish, or any evil-favoured thing, for that is an abomination unto the Lord thy God. If there be found among you in any of thy cities, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, man or woman that hath wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, in transgressing his covenant, and hath gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, as the sun, or the moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told unto thee, and thou hast heard it, then shalt thou inquire diligently, and if it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought in Israel, then shalt thou bring forth that man, or that woman, which hath committed that wicked thing, unto thy gates, whether it be man or woman, and shalt stone them with stones, till they die. At the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death die. But at the mouth of 1 witness he shall not die. The hands of the witnesses shall be first upon him, to kill him, and afterward the hands of all the people. So thou shalt take the wicked away from among you. If there rise a matter too hard for thee in judgment between blood and blood, between plea and plea, between plague and plague, in the matter of controversy within thy gates, then shalt thou arise and go up unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. And thou shalt come unto the priests of the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and ask, and they shall show thee the sentence of judgment. And thou shalt do according to that thing which they of that place, which the Lord hath chosen, show thee. And thou shalt observe to do according to all that they inform thee, according to the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall tell thee, shalt thou do. Thou shalt not decline from the thing which they shall show thee, neither to the right hand nor the left. And that man that will do presumptuously, not hearkening unto the priest that standeth before the Lord thy God to minister there, or unto the judge, that man shall die, and thou shalt take away evil from Israel. So all the people shall hear and fear, and do no more presumptuously. When thou shalt come unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and dwell therein, if thou say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me, then thou shalt make him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. From among thy brethren shalt thou make a king over thee. Thou shalt not set a stranger over thee which is not thy brother. In any wise he shall not prepare him many horses, nor bring the people again to Egypt, for to increase the number of horses, seeing the Lord hath said unto you, Ye shall henceforth go no more again that way. Neither shall he take him many wives, lest his heart turn away. Neither shall he gather him much silver and gold. And when he shall sit upon the throne of his kingdom, then shall he write him this law repeated in a book, by the priest of the Levites, and it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord his God, and to keep all the words of this law, and these ordinances to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not from the commandment to the right hand or to the left, but that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his sons in the midst of Israel. Deuteronomy chapter 18. The priests of the Levites and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel, but shall eat the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and his inheritance. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren, for the Lord is their inheritance, as he hath said unto them. And this shall be the priest's duty of the people, that they which offer sacrifice, whether it be bullock or sheep, shall give unto the priest the shoulder, and the 2 cheeks, and the maw, the firstfruits also of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the first of the fleece of thy sheep shalt thou give him. For the Lord thy God hath chosen him out of all thy tribes, to stand and minister in the name of the Lord, him and his sons forever. Also, when a Levite shall come out of any of thy cities of all Israel where he remained, and come with all the desire of his heart unto the place which the Lord shall choose, he shall then minister in the name of the Lord his God, as all his brethren the Levites, which remain there before the Lord. They shall have like portions to eat, beside that which cometh of the sale of his patrimony. When thou shalt come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. Let none be found among you that maketh his son or his daughter to go thorough the fire, or that useth witchcraft, or a regarder of times, or a marker of the flying of fowls, or a sorcerer, or a charmer, or that counselleth with spirits, or a soothsayer, or that asketh counsel at the dead. For all that do such things are abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth cast them out before thee. Thou shalt be upright, therefore, with the Lord thy God. For these nations which thou shalt possess, hearken unto those that regard the times, and unto sorcerers. As for thee, the Lord thy God hath not suffered thee so. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet, like unto me from among you, even of thy brethren. Unto him ye shall hearken, according to all that thou desiredst of the Lord thy God in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, when thou saidst, Let me hear the voice of my Lord God no more, nor see this great fire any more, that I die not. And the Lord said unto me, They have well spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet that shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that speaketh in the name of other gods, even the same prophet shall die. And if thou think in thine heart, How shall we know the word which the Lord hath not spoken, when a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass? That is the thing which the Lord hath not spoken, but the prophet hath spoken it presumptuously. Thou shalt not therefore be afraid of him. Deuteronomy chapter 19. When the Lord thy God shall root out the nations, whose land the Lord thy God giveth thee, and thou shalt possess them, and dwell in their cities, and in their houses, thou shalt separate 3 cities for thee, in the midst of thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it. Thou shalt prepare thee the way, and divide the coasts of the land which the Lord thy God give thee to inherit, into 3 parts, that every manslayer may flee thither. This also is the cause wherefore the manslayer shall flee thither, and live, whoso killeth his neighbor ignorantly, and hated him not in time past, as he that goeth unto the wood with his neighbor to hew wood, and his hand striketh with the axe to cut down the tree. If the head slip from the helve, and hit his neighbor, that he dieth, the same shall flee unto one of the cities, and live. Lest the avenger of the blood follow after the manslayer while his heart is chafed, and overtake him, because the way is long, and slay him, although he be not worthy of death, because he hated him not in time past. Wherefore I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt appoint out 3 cities for thee. And when the Lord thy God enlargeth thy coasts, as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, and giveth thee all the land which he promised to give unto thy fathers, if thou keep all these commandments to do them which I command thee this day, to wit, that thou love the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways forever, then thou shalt add 3 cities more for thee besides those 3, that no innocent blood be shed within thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee to inherit, lest blood be upon thee. But if a man hate his neighbor, and lay wait for him, and rise against him, and smite any man that he die, and flee unto any of these cities, then the elders of his cities shall send and fet him thence, and deliver him to the hands of the avenger of the blood, that he may die. Thine eye shall not spare him, but thou shalt put away the cry of innocent blood from Israel, that it may go well with thee. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's mark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, that thou shalt inherit in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it. 1 witness shall not rise against a man for any trespass, or for any sin, or for any fault that he offendeth in, but at the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. If a false witness rise up against a man to accuse him of trespass, then both the men which strive together shall stand before the Lord, even before the priests and the judges which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and if the witness be found false, and hath given false witness against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to do unto his brother. So thou shalt take evil away forth of the midst of thee. And the rest shall hear this, and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such wickedness among you. Therefore thine eye shall have no compassion, but life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Deuteronomy chapter 20. When thou shalt go forth to war against thine enemies, and shalt see horses, and chariots, and people more than thou, be not afraid of them. For the Lord thy God is with thee, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. And when ye are come near unto the battle, then the priest shall come forth to speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Israel, ye are come this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint, neither fear, nor be amazed, nor adread of them. For the Lord your God goeth with you, to fight for you against your enemies, and to save you. And let the officers speak unto the people, saying, What man is there that hath built a new house, and hath not dedicated it? Let him go, and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. And what man is there that hath planted a vineyard, and hath not eaten of the fruit? Let him go to return again unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another eat the fruit. And what man is there that hath betrothed a wife, and hath not taken her? Let him go and return again unto his house, lest he die in battle, and another man take her. And let the officers speak further unto the people, and say, Whosoever is afraid, and faint-hearted, let him go, and return unto his house, lest his brethren's heart faint like his heart. And after that the officers have made an end of speaking unto the people, they shall make captains of the army to govern the people. When thou comest near unto a city to fight against it, thou shalt offer it peace. And if it answer thee again peaceably, and open unto thee, then let all the people that is found therein be tributaries unto thee, and serve thee. But if it will make no peace with thee, but make war against thee, then shalt thou besiege it. And the Lord thy God shall deliver it into thine hands, and thou shalt smite all the males thereof with the edge of the sword. Only the women and the children, and the cattle, and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shalt thou take unto thyself, and shalt eat the spoil of thine enemies, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. Thus shalt thou do unto all the cities which are a great way off from thee, which are not of the cities of these nations here, but of the cities of this people which the Lord thy God shall give thee to inherit. Thou shalt save no person alive, but shalt utterly destroy them, to wit, the Hittites, and the Amorites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee, that they teach you not to do after all their abominations, which they have done unto their gods, and so ye should sin against the Lord your God. When thou hast besieged a city long time, and made war against it to take it, destroy not the trees thereof by smiting an axe into them, for thou mayest eat of them. Therefore thou shalt not cut them down to further thee in the siege. For the tree of the field is man's life. Only those trees which thou knowest are not for meat, those shalt thou destroy and cut down, and make forts against the city that maketh war with thee, until thou subdue it. Deuteronomy chapter 21. If one be found slain in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it, lying in the field, and it is not known who hath slain him, then thine elders and thy judges shall come forth and measure unto the cities that are round about him that is slain. And let the elders of that city which is next unto the slain man take out of the drove an heifer that hath not been put to labor, nor hath drawn in the yoke. And let the elders of that city bring the heifer unto a stony valley, which is neither eared nor sown, and strike off the heifer's neck there in the valley. Also the priests, the sons of Levi, whom the Lord thy God hath chosen to minister, and to bless in the name of the Lord, shall come forth, and by their word shall all strife and plague be tried. And all the elders of that city that came near to the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer that is beheaded in the valley, and shall testify, and say, Our hands have not shed this blood, neither have our eyes seen it. O Lord, be merciful unto thy people Israel, whom thou hast redeemed, and lay no innocent blood to the charge of thy people Israel, and the blood shall be forgiven them. So shalt thou take away the cry of innocent blood from thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord. When thou shalt go to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy God shall deliver them into thine hands, and thou shalt take them captives, and shalt see among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, and wouldest take her to thy wife. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head, and pare her nails, and she shall put off the garment that she was taken in, and she shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a month long. And after that shalt thou go in unto her, and marry her, and she shall be thy wife. And if thou have no favour unto her, then thou mayest let her go whither she will. But thou shalt not sell her for money, nor make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her. If a man have 2 wives, one loved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the loved and also the hated, if the firstborn be the son of the hated, then when the time cometh that he appointeth his sons to be heirs of that which he hath, he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn, and give him double portion for all that he hath, for he is the first of his strength, and to him belongeth the right of firstborn. If any man have a son that is stubborn and disobedient, which will not hearken unto the voice of his father, nor the voice of his mother, and they have chastened him, and he would not obey them, then shall his father and his mother take him, and bring him out unto the elders of his city, and unto the gate of the place where he dwelleth, and shall say unto the elders of his city, This our son is stubborn and disobedient, and he will not obey our admonition. He is a rioter and a drunkard. Then all the men of his city shall stone him with stones unto death. So thou shalt take away evil from among you, that all Israel may hear it, and fear. If a man also have committed a trespass worthy of death, and is put to death, and thou hangest him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt bury him the same day, for the curse of God is on him that is hanged. Defile not, therefore, thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee to inherit. Deuteronomy chapter 22. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox, nor his sheep go astray, and withdraw thyself from them, but shalt bring them again unto thy brother. And if thy brother be not near unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine house, and it shall remain with thee until thy brother seek after it. Then shalt thou deliver it to him again. In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and shalt so do with all lost things of thy brother which he hath lost. If thou hast found them, thou shalt not withdraw thyself from them. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass nor his ox fall down by the way, and withdraw thyself from them, but shall lift them up with him. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto the man, neither shall a man put on a woman's raiment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. If thou find a bird's nest in the way, in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young or eggs. And the dam sitting upon the young, or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young, but shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that thou mayest prosper, and prolong thy days. When thou buildest a new house, thou shalt make a battlement on thy roof, that thou lay not blood upon thine house, if any man fall thence. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with divers kinds of seeds, lest thou defile the increase of the seed which thou hast sown, and the fruit of the vineyard. Thou shalt not plough with an ox and an ass together. Thou shalt not wear a garment of divers sorts, as of woolen and linen together. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture wherewith thou coverest thyself. If a man take a wife, and when he hath lain with her, hate her, and lay slanderous things unto her charge, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this wife, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid, then shall the father of the maid and her mother take and bring the signs of the maid's virginity unto the elders of the city to the gate. And the maid's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her, and lo, he layeth slanderous things unto her charge, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. Lo, these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the vesture before the elders of the city. Then the elders of the city shall take that man, and chastise him, and shall condemn him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the maid, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a maid of Israel. And she shall be his wife, and he may not put her away all his life. But if this thing be true, that the maid be not found a virgin, then shall they bring forth the maid to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones to death. For she hath wrought folly in Israel, by playing the whore in her father's house. So thou shalt put evil away from among you. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a man, then they shall die, even both twain, to wit, the man that lay with the wife, and the wife. So thou shalt put away evil from Israel. If a maid be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the town, and lie with her, then shall ye bring them both out unto the gates of the same city, and shall stone them with stones to death, the maid because she cried not, being in the city, and the man because he hath humbled his neighbour's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you. But if a man find a betrothed maid in the field, and force her, and lie with her, then the man that lay with her shall die alone. And unto the maid thou shalt do nothing, because there is in the maid no cause of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbour, and woundeth him to death, so is this matter. For he found her in the fields, the betrothed maid cried, and there was no man to succour her. If a man find a maid that is not betrothed, and take her, and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the maid's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He cannot put her away all his life. No man shall take his father's wife, nor shall uncover his father's skirt. Deuteronomy chapter 23. None that is hurt by bursting, or that hath his privy member cut off, shall enter into the congregation of the Lord. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. The Ammonites and the Moabites shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. Because they met you not with bread and water in the way, when ye came out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam, the son of Beor, of Pethor, in Aram Naharaim, to curse thee. Nevertheless, the Lord thy God would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse to a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God loved thee. Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity, all thy days forever. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Neither shalt thou abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them in their third generation shall enter into the congregation of the Lord. When thou goest out with the host against thine enemies, keep thee then from all wickedness. If there be among you any that is unclean by that which cometh to him by night, he shall go out of the host, and shall not enter into the host. But at even he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun is down, he shall enter into the host. Thou shalt have a place, also, without the host, whither thou shalt resort. And thou shalt have a paddle among thy weapons, and when thou wouldest sit down without, thou shalt dig therewith, and returning, thou shalt cover thine excrements. For the Lord thy God walketh in the midst of thy camp to deliver thee, and to give thee thine enemies before thee. Therefore thine host shall be holy, that he see no filthy thing in thee, and turn away from thee. Thou shalt not deliver the servant unto his master, which is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee, even among you, in what place he shall choose, in one of thy cities where it liketh him best. Thou shalt not vex him. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, neither shall there be a whore keeper of the sons of Israel. Thou shalt neither bring the hire of a whore, nor the price of a dog, into the house of the Lord thy God for any vow, for even both these are abomination unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not give to usury to thy brother, as usury of money, usury of meat, usury of anything that is put to usury. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but thou shalt not lend upon usury unto thy brother, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land whither thou goest to possess it. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God, thou shalt not be slack to pay it. For the Lord thy God will surely require it of thee, and so it should be sin unto thee. But when thou abstainest from vowing, it shall be no sin unto thee. That which is gone out of thy lips, thou shalt keep and perform, as thou hast vowed it willingly unto the Lord thy God. For thou hast spoken it with thy mouth. When thou comest unto thy neighbour's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes at thy pleasure, as much as thou wilt, but thou shalt put none in thy vessel. When thou comest unto thy neighbour's corn, thou mayest pluck the ears with thine hand, but thou shalt not move a sickle to thy neighbour's corn. Deuteronomy chapter 24. When a man taketh a wife, and marrieth her, if so be she find no favour in his eyes, because he hath espied some filthiness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and put it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, and gone her way, and marry with another man, if the latter husband hate her, and write her a letter of divorcement, and put it in her hand, and send her out of his house, or if the latter man die which took her to wife, then her first husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife, after that she is defiled. For that is abomination in the sight of the Lord, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God doth give thee to inherit. When a man taketh a new wife, he shall not go a warfare, neither shall be charged with any business, but shall be free at home 1 year, and rejoice with his wife, which he hath taken. No man shall take the nether nor the upper millstone to pledge, for this gauge is his living. If any man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, that thief shall die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. Take heed of the plague of leprosy, that thou observe diligently, and do according to all that the priests of the Levites shall teach you. Take heed ye do as I commanded them. Remember what the Lord thy God did unto Miriam by the way after that ye were come out of Egypt. When thou shalt ask again of thy neighbor anything lent, thou shalt not go into his house to fet his pledge, but thou shalt stand without, and the man that borrowed it of thee shall bring the pledge out of the doors unto thee. Furthermore, if it be a poor body, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge, but shalt restore him the pledge when the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his raiment, and bless thee. And it shall be righteousness unto thee before the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is needy and poor, neither of thy brethren, nor of the stranger that is in thy land within thy gates. Thou shalt give him his hire for his day, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and therewith sustaineth his life, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee. The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, nor the children put to death for the fathers, but every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Thou shalt not pervert the right of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. But remember that thou wast a servant in Egypt, and how the Lord thy God delivered thee thence. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgotten a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fet it, but it shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the works of thine hands. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again, but it shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest thy vineyard, thou shalt not gather the grapes clean after thee, but they shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. Deuteronomy chapter 25. When there shall be strife between men, and they shall come unto judgment, and sentence shall be given upon them, and the righteous shall be justified, and the wicked condemned, then if so be the wicked be worthy to be beaten, the judge shall cause him to lie down, and to be beaten before his face, according to his trespass, unto a certain number. 40 stripes shall he cause him to have, and not past, lest if he should exceed, and beat him above that with many stripes, thy brother should appear despised in thy sight. Thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no son, the wife of the dead shall not marry without, that is, unto a stranger, but his kinsman shall go in unto her, and take her to wife, and do the kinsman's office to her. And the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. And if the man will not take his kinswoman, then let his kinswoman go up to the gate unto the elders, and say, My kinsman refuseth to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not do the office of a kinsman unto me. Then the elders of the city shall call him, and commune with him. If he stand and say, I will not take her, then shall his kinswoman come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from his foot, and spit in his face, and answer, and say, So shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. And his name shall be called in Israel the house of him whose shoe is put off. When men strive together, one with another, if the wife of the one come near for to rid her husband out of the hands of him that smiteth him, and put forth her hand, and take him by his privities, then thou shalt cut off her hand. Thine eye shall not spare her. Thou shalt not have in thy bag 2 manner of weights, a great and a small. Neither shalt thou have in thine house divers measures, a great and a small. But thou shalt have a right and just weight, a perfect and a just measure shalt thou have, that thy days may be lengthened in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. For all that do such things, and all that do unrighteously, are abomination unto the Lord thy God. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when ye were come out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of you, all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast fainted and weary, and he feared not God. Therefore, when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, then thou shalt put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Forget not. Deuteronomy chapter 26. Also, when thou shalt come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for inheritance, and shalt possess it, and dwell therein, then shalt thou take of the first of all the fruit of the earth, and bring it out of the land that the Lord thy God giveth thee, and put it in a basket, and go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, to place his name there. And thou shalt come unto the priest that shall be in those days, and say unto him, I acknowledge this day unto the Lord thy God, that I am come unto the country which the Lord sware unto our fathers for to give us. Then the priest shall take the basket out of thine hand, and set it down before the altar of the Lord thy God. And thou shalt answer, and say before the Lord thy God, A Syrian was my father, who being ready to perish for hunger, went down into Egypt, and sojourned there with a small company, and grew there unto a nation great, mighty, and full of people. And the Egyptians vexed us, and troubled us, and laded us with cruel bondage. But when we cried unto the Lord God of our fathers, the Lord heard our voice, and looked on our adversity, and on our labor, and on our oppression. And the Lord brought us out of Egypt in a mighty hand, and stretched out arm, with great terribleness, both in signs and wonders. And he hath brought us into this place, and hath given us this land, even a land that floweth with milk and honey. And now, lo, I have brought the first fruits of the land which thou, O Lord, hast given me. And thou shalt set it before the Lord thy God, and worship before the Lord thy God. And thou shalt rejoice in all the good things which the Lord thy God hath given unto thee, and to thine household, thou, and the Levite, and the stranger that is among you. When thou hast made an end of tithing all the tithes of thine increase, the 3rd year, which is the year of tithing, and hast given it unto the Levite, to the stranger, to the fatherless, and to the widow, that they may eat within thy gates, and be satisfied, then thou shalt say before the Lord thy God, I have brought the hallowed thing out of mine house, and also have given it to the Levites, and to the strangers, to the fatherless, and to the widow, according to all thy commandments which thou hast commanded me. I have transgressed none of the commandments, nor forgotten them. I have not eaten thereof in my mourning, nor suffered aught to perish through uncleanness, nor given aught thereof for the dead, but have hearkened unto the voice of the Lord my God. I have done after all that thou hast commanded me. Look down from thine holy habitation, even from heaven, and bless thy people Israel, and the land which thou hast given us, as thou swarest unto our fathers, the land that floweth with milk and honey. This day the Lord thy God doth command thee to do these ordinances and laws. Keep them therefore, and do them with all thine heart, and with all thy soul. Thou hast set up the Lord this day to be thy God, and to walk in his ways, and to keep his ordinances, and his commandments, and his laws, and to hearken unto his voice. And the Lord hath set thee up this day, to be a precious people unto him, as he hath promised thee, and that thou shouldest keep all his commandments, and to make thee high above all nations which he hath made, in praise, and in name, and in glory, and that thou shouldest be an holy people unto the Lord thy God, as he hath said. Deuteronomy chapter 27. Then Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, Keep all the commandments which I command you this day, and when ye shall pass over Jordan unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt set thee up great stones, and plaster them with plaster, and shalt write upon them all the words of this law, when thou shalt come over, that thou mayest go into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, a land that floweth with milk and honey, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath promised thee. Therefore when ye shall pass over Jordan, ye shall set up these stones, which I command you this day, in Mount Ebal, and thou shalt plaster them with plaster, and there shalt thou build unto the Lord thy God an altar, even an altar of stones. Thou shalt lift none iron instrument upon them. Thou shalt make the altar of the Lord thy God of whole stones, and offer burnt offerings thereon unto the Lord thy God. And thou shalt offer peace offerings, and shalt eat there, and rejoice before the Lord thy God. And thou shalt write upon the stones all the words of this law well and plainly. And Moses and the priests of the Levites spake unto all Israel, saying, Take heed and hear, O Israel, this day thou art become the people of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt hearken therefore unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and do his commandments and his ordinances, which I command thee this day. And Moses charged the people the same day, saying, These shall stand upon Mount Gerizim, to bless the people when ye shall pass over Jordan, Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Joseph, and Benjamin. And these shall stand upon Mount Ebal, to curse, Reuben, Gad, and Asher, and Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. And the Levites shall answer and say unto all the men of Israel with a loud voice, Cursed be the man that shall make any carved or molten image, which is an abomination unto the Lord, the work of the hands of the craftsman, and putteth it in a secret place. And all the people shall answer and say, So be it. Cursed be he that curseth his father and his mother. And all the people shall say, So be it. Cursed be he that removeth his neighbour's mark, and all the people shall say, So be it. Cursed be he that maketh the blind go out of the way, and all the people shall say, So be it. Cursed be he that hindereth the right of the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and all the people shall say, So be it. Cursed be he that lieth with his father's wife, for he hath uncovered his father's skirt. And all the people shall say, So be it. Cursed be he that lieth with any beast, and all the people shall say, So be it. Cursed be he that lieth with his sister, the daughter of his father, or the daughter of his mother, and all the people shall say, So be it. Cursed be he that lieth with his mother-in-law, and all the people shall say, So be it. Cursed be he that smiteth his neighbour secretly, and all the people shall say, So be it. Cursed be he that taketh a reward to put to death innocent blood, and all the people shall say, So be it. Cursed be he that confirmeth not all the words of this law to do them, and all the people shall say, So be it. Deuteronomy chapter 28. If thou shalt obey diligently the voice of the Lord thy God, and observe and do all his commandments which I command thee this day, then the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth, and all these blessings shall come on thee, and overtake thee, if thou shalt obey the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed also in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket, and thy dough. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed also when thou goest out. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise against thee to fall before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and shall flee before thee 7 ways. The Lord shall command the blessing to be with thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand to, and will bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. The Lord shall make thee an holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways. Then all the people of the earth shall see that the name of the Lord is called upon over thee, and they shall be afraid of thee. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Lord swore unto thy fathers, to give thee. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, even the heaven, to give rain unto thy land in due season, and to bless all the work of thine hands. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, but shalt not borrow thyself. And the Lord shall make thee the head, and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and shalt not be beneath, if thou obey the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day, to keep and to do them. But thou shalt not decline from any of the words which I command you this day, either to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. But if thou wilt not obey the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep and to do all his commandments and his ordinances, which I command thee this day, then all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the town, and cursed also in the field. Cursed shall thy basket be, and thy dough. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed also when thou goest out. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, trouble, and shame, and all that which thou settest thine hand to do, until thou be destroyed, and perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy works, whereby thou hast forsaken me. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he hath consumed thee from the land whither thou goest to possess it. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with the fever, and with a burning ague, and with fervent heat, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with the mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. And thine heaven that is over thine head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee iron. The Lord shall give thee for the rain of thy land dust and ashes. Even from heaven shall it come down upon thee, until thou be destroyed. And the Lord shall cause thee to fall before thine enemies. Thou shalt come out one way against them, and shalt flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be scattered through all the kingdoms of the earth. And thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and none shall fray them away. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the hemorrhoids, and with the scab, and with the itch, that thou canst not be healed. And the Lord shall smite thee with madness, and with blindness, and with atoning of heart. Thou shalt also grope at noondays, as the blind gropeth in darkness, and shalt not prosper in thy ways. Thou shalt never but be oppressed with wrong, and be polled evermore, and no man shall succour thee. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not eat the fruit. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and no man shall rescue them for thee. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall still look for them, even till they fall out, and there shall be no power in thine hand. The fruit of thy land and all thy labours shall a people which thou knowest not eat, and thou shalt never but suffer wrong and violence always. So that thou shalt be mad for the sight which thine eyes shall see. The Lord shall smite thee in the knees, and in the thighs, with a sore botch, that thou canst not be healed, even from the sole of the foot unto the top of thine head. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there thou shalt serve other gods, even wood and stone. And thou shalt be a wonder, a proverb, and a common talk among all people whither the Lord shall carry thee. Thou shalt carry out much seed into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the grasshoppers shall destroy it. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and dress it, but shalt neither drink of the wine, nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat it. Thou shalt have olive trees in all thy coasts, but shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thine olives shall fall. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but shalt not have them, for they shall go into captivity. All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the grasshopper consume. The stranger that is among you shall climb above thee up on high, and thou shalt come down beneath alow. He shall lend thee, and thou shalt not lend him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou obeyedst not the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his ordinances which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for signs and wonders, and upon thy seed forever, because thou servedst not the Lord thy God with joyfulness, and with a good heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send upon thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in need of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee. The Lord shall bring a nation upon thee from far, even from the end of the world, flying swift as an eagle, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of a fierce countenance, which will not regard the person of the old, nor have compassion of the young. The same shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed, and he shall leave thee neither wheat, wine, nor oil, neither the increase of thy kine, nor the flocks of thy sheep, until he have brought thee to naught. And he shall besiege thee in all thy cities, until thine high and strong walls fall down, wherein thou trustedst in all the land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy cities, throughout all thy land which the Lord thy God hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy body, even the flesh of thy sons and thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee during the siege and straitness wherein thine enemies shall enclose thee, so that the man that is tender and exceeding dainty among you shall be grieved at his brother, and at his wife that lieth in his bosom, and at the remnant of his children which he hath yet left, for fear of giving unto any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in that siege and straitness wherewith thine enemy shall besiege thee in all thy cities. The tender and dainty woman among you, which never would venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for her softness and tenderness, shall be grieved at her husband that lieth in her bosom, and at her son, and at her daughter, and at her afterbirth, that shall come out from between her feet, and at her children, which she shall bear. For when all things lack, she shall eat them secretly, during the siege and straitness wherewith thine enemy shall besiege thee in thy cities. If thou wilt not keep and do all the words of the law that are written in this book, and fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore diseases, and of long durance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, whereof thou wast afraid, and they shall cleave unto thee, and every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, will the Lord heap upon thee, until thou be destroyed. And ye shall be left few in number, where ye were as the stars of heaven in multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God. And as the Lord hath rejoiced over you, to do you good, and to multiply you, so he will rejoice over you to destroy you, and bring you to naught. And ye shall be rooted out of the land whither thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the world unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which thou hast not known, nor thy fathers, even wood and stone. Also among these nations thou shalt find no rest, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. For the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and looking to return, till thine eyes fall out, and a sorrowful mind. And thy life shall hang before thee, and thou shalt fear both night and day, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, Would God it were evening. And at the evening thou shalt say, Would God it were morning, for the fear of thine heart which thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I said unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall sell yourselves unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and there shall be no buyer. Deuteronomy chapter 29. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commandeth Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he had made with them in Horeb. And Moses called all Israel, and said unto them, Ye have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt unto Pharaoh, and unto all his servants, and unto all his land. The great temptations which thine eyes have seen, those great miracles and wonders. Yet the Lord hath not given you an heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear, unto this day. And I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes are not waxed old upon you, neither is thy shoe waxed old upon thy foot. Ye have eaten no bread, neither drunk wine, nor strong drink, that ye might know how that I am the Lord your God. After ye came unto this place, and Sihon, king of Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, came out against us unto battle, and we slew them, and took their land, and gave it for an inheritance unto the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to the half-tribe of Manasseh. Keep therefore the words of this covenant, and do them, that ye may prosper in all that ye shall do. Ye stand this day, every one of you, before the Lord your God, your heads of your tribes, your elders, and your officers, even all the men of Israel, your children, your wives, and thy stranger that is in thy camp, from the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer of thy water, that thou shouldest pass into the covenant of the Lord thy God, and into his oath, which the Lord thy God maketh with thee this day, for to establish thee this day a people unto himself, and that he may be unto thee a God, as he hath said unto thee, and as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Neither make I this covenant and this oath with you only, but as well with him that standeth here with us this day before the Lord our God, as with him that is not here with us this day. For ye know how we have dwelt in the land of Egypt, and how we passed through the midst of the nations which ye passed by. And ye have seen their abominations, and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them, that there should not be among you man nor woman, nor family nor tribe, which should turn his heart away this day from the Lord our God, to go and serve the gods of these nations, and that there should not be among you any root that bringeth forth gall and wormwood, so that when he heareth the words of this curse, he bless himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, although I walk according to the stubbornness of mine own heart, thus adding drunkenness to thirst. The Lord will not be merciful unto him, but then the wrath of the Lord and his jealousy shall smoke against that man, and every curse that is written in this book shall light upon him, and the Lord shall put out his name from under heaven, and the Lord shall separate him unto evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according unto all the curses of the covenant that is written in the book of this law, so that the generation to come, even your children that shall rise up after you, and the stranger that shall come from a far land, shall say, when they shall see the plagues of this land, and the diseases thereof, wherewith the Lord shall smite it, for all that land shall burn with brimstone and salt, it shall not be sown, nor bring forth, nor any grass shall grow therein, like as in the overthrowing of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboam, which the Lord overthrew in his wrath and in his anger. Then shall all nations say, Wherefore hath the Lord done thus unto this land? How fierce is this great wrath? And they shall answer, Because they have forsaken the covenant of the Lord God of their fathers, which he had made with them when he brought them out of the land of Egypt, and went and served other gods, and worshipped them, even gods which they knew not, and which had given them nothing. Therefore the wrath of the Lord waxed hot against this land, to bring upon it every curse that is written in this book. And the Lord hath rooted them out of their land in anger, and in wrath, and in great indignation, and hath cast them into another land, as appeareth this day. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things revealed belong unto us, and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. Deuteronomy chapter 30. Now when all these things shall come upon thee, either the blessing or the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt turn into thine heart among all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and obey his voice in all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul, then the Lord thy God will cause thy captives to return, and have compassion upon thee, and will return to gather thee out of all the people where the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. Though thou wouldest cast unto the utmost part of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he take thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will show thee favor, and will multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, that thou mayest love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord thy God will lay all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, and that persecute thee. Return thou, therefore, and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. And the Lord thy God will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of the land for thy wealth. For the Lord will turn again, and rejoice over thee to do thee good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers, because thou shalt obey the voice of the Lord thy God, in keeping his commandments and his ordinances, which are written in the book of this law, when thou shalt return unto the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul. For this commandment, which I command thee this day, is not hid from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, Who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it us, and cause us to hear it, that we may do it? Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, Who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it us, and cause us to hear it, that we may do it? But the word is very near unto thee, even in thy mouth, and in thine heart, for to do it. Behold, I have set before thee this day life and good, death and evil, in that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandment, and his ordinances, and his laws, that thou mayest live, and be multiplied, and that the Lord thy God may bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not obey, but shalt be seduced, and worship other gods, and serve them, I pronounce unto you this day, that ye shall surely perish. Ye shall not prolong your days in the land whither thou passest over Jordan to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live, by loving the Lord thy God, by obeying his voice, and by cleaving unto him, for he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give them. Deuteronomy chapter 31. Then Moses went and spake these words unto all Israel, and said unto them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and in. Also the Lord hath said unto me, Thou shalt not go over this Jordan. The Lord thy God, he will go over before thee. He will destroy these nations before thee, and thou shalt possess them. Joshua, he shall go before thee, as the Lord hath said. And the Lord shall do unto them as he did to Sihon, and to Og, kings of the Amorites, and unto their land, whom he destroyed. And the Lord shall give them before you, that ye may do unto them according unto every commandment which I have commanded you. Pluck up your hearts, therefore, and be strong. Dread not, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord thy God himself doth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee, And Moses called Joshua, and said unto him in the sight of all Israel, Be of good courage, and strong, for thou shalt go with this people unto the land which the Lord hath sworn unto their fathers to give them, and thou shalt give it them to inherit. And the Lord himself doth go before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not therefore, nor be discomforted. And Moses wrote this law, and delivered it unto the priests, the sons of Levi, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and unto all the elders of Israel. And Moses commanded them, saying, Every 7th year, when the year of freedom shall be in the feast of the tabernacles, when all Israel shall come to appear before the Lord thy God, and the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all Israel, that they may hear it. Gather the people together, men and women and children, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, that they may hear, and that they may learn, and fear the Lord your God, and keep and observe all the words of this law, and that their children, which have not known it, may hear it, and learn to fear the Lord your God, as long as ye live in the land whither ye go over Jordan to possess it. Then the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, thy days are come that thou must die. Call Joshua, and stand ye in the tabernacle of the congregation, that I may give him a charge. So Moses and Joshua went, and stood in the tabernacle of the congregation. And the Lord appeared in the tabernacle in the pillar of a cloud, and the pillar of the cloud stood over the door of the tabernacle. And the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people will rise up, and go a-whoring after the gods of a strange land whither they go to dwell therein, and will forsake me, and break my covenant which I have made with them. Wherefore my wrath will wax hot against them at that day, and I will forsake them, and will hide my face from them. Then they shall be consumed, and many adversities and tribulations shall come upon them. So then they will say, Are not these troubles come upon me because God is not with me? But I will surely hide my face in that day, because of all the evil which they shall commit, in that they are turned unto other gods. Now therefore write ye this song for you, and teach it the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness against the children of Israel. For I will bring them into the land which I swear unto their fathers, that floweth with milk and honey, and they shall eat and fill themselves, and wax fat. Then shall they turn unto other gods, and serve them, and contemn me, and break my covenant. And then, when many adversities and tribulations shall come upon them, this song shall answer them to their faces as a witness. For it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their posterity, for I know their imagination which they go about even now, before I have brought them into the land which I swear. Moses therefore wrote this song the same day, and taught it the children of Israel. And God gave Joshua the son of Nun a charge, and said, Be strong and of good courage, for thou shalt bring the children of Israel into the land which I swear unto them, and I will be with thee. And when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book, until he had finished them, then Moses commanded the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, saying, Take the book of this law, and put ye in it the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there for a witness against thee. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, I being yet alive with you this day, ye are rebellious against the Lord. How much more then after my death? Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes, and your officers, that I may speak these words in their audience, and call heaven and earth to record against them. For I am sure that after my death ye will utterly be corrupt, and turn from the way which I have commanded you, Therefore evil will come upon you at the length, because ye will commit evil in the sight of the Lord, by provoking him to anger through the work of your hands." Thus Moses spake in the audience of all the congregation of Israel the words of this song, until he had ended them. Deuteronomy chapter 32. Hearken, ye heavens, and I will speak, and let the earth hear the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, and my speech shall still as the dew, as the shower upon the herbs, and as the great rain upon the grass. For I will publish the name of the Lord. Give ye glory unto our God. Perfect is the work of the mighty God, for all his ways are judgment. God is true, and without wickedness. Just and righteous is he. They have corrupted themselves toward him by their vice, not being his children, but a froward and crooked generation. Do ye so reward the Lord, O foolish people, and unwise? Is not he thy father, that hath bought thee? He hath made thee, and proportioned thee. Remember the days of old, consider the years of so many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thine elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High God divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he appointed the borders of the people, according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in the land of the wilderness, in a waste and roaring wilderness. He led him about, he taught him, and kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her birds, stretcheth out her wings, taketh them, and beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone led him, and there was no strange god with him. He carried him up to the high places of the earth, that he might eat the fruits of the fields, and he caused him to suck honey out of the stone, and oil out of the hard rock, butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of the lambs, and rams fed in Bashan, and goats with the fat of the grains of wheat, and the red liquor of the grape hast thou drunk. But he that should have been upright, when he waxed fat, spurned with his heel. Thou art fat, thou art gross, thou art laden with fatness. Therefore he forsook God that made him, and regarded not the strong God of his salvation. They provoked him with strange gods, they provoked him to anger with abominations. They offered unto devils, not to God, but to gods whom they knew not, new gods that came newly up, whom their fathers feared not. Thou hast forgotten the mighty God that begat thee, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. The Lord then saw it, and was angry for the provocation of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a froward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are no people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For fire is kindled in my wrath, and shall burn unto the bottom of hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will spend plagues upon them, I will bestow mine arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger, and consumed with heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the venom of serpents creeping in the dust. The sword shall kill them without, and in the chambers fear, both the young man and the young woman, the suckling with the man of grey hair. I have said, I would scatter them abroad. I would make their remembrance to cease from among men, save that I feared the fury of the enemy, lest their adversaries should wax proud, and lest they should say, Our high hand, and not the Lord, hath done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise! Then they would understand this. They would consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000, and 2 put 10,000 to flight, except their strong God had sold them, and the Lord had shut them up? For their God is not as our God, even our enemies being judges. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and of the vines of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, their clusters be bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons, and the cruel gall of asps. Is not this laid in store with me, and sealed up among my treasures? Vengeance and recompense are mine. Their foot shall slide in due time. For the day of their destruction is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. For the Lord shall judge his people, and repent toward his servants, when he seeth that their power is gone, and none shut up in hold nor left abroad. When men shall say, Where are their gods, their mighty God, in whom they trusted, which did eat the fat of their sacrifices, and did drink of the wine of their drink offering? Let them rise up and help you. Let him be your refuge. Behold now, for I am he, and there is no gods with me. I kill and give life. I wound and I make whole. Neither is there any that can deliver out of mine hand. For I lift up mine hand to heaven, and say, I live forever. If I whet my glittering sword, and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will execute vengeance on mine enemies, and will reward them that hate me. I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall eat flesh. For the blood of the slain and of the captives, when I begin to take vengeance of the enemy. Ye nations, praise his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will execute vengeance upon his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. Then Moses came and spake all the words of this song in the audience of the people, he and Hosea, the son of Nun. When Moses had made an end of speaking all these words to all Israel, then he said unto them, Set your hearts unto all the words which I testify against you this day, that ye may command them unto your children, that they may observe and do all the words of this law. For it is no vain word concerning you, but it is your life, and by this word ye shall prolong your days in the land, whither ye go over Jordan to possess it. And the Lord spake unto Moses the selfsame day, saying, Go up into the mountain of Abarim, unto the mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, that is over against Jericho, and behold the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel for a possession, and die in the mount which thou goest up unto, and thou shalt be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother died in Mount Hor, and was gathered unto his people, because ye trespassed against me among the children of Israel at the waters of Meribah, at Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin. For ye sanctified me not among the children of Israel. Thou shalt therefore see the land before thee, but shalt not go thither. I mean, into the land which I give the children of Israel. Deuteronomy, chapter 33. Now this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death, and said, The Lord came from Sinai, and rose up from Seir unto them, and appeared clearly from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints, and at his right hand a fiery law for them. Though he love the people, yet all thy saints are in thine hands, and they are humbled at thy feet to receive thy words. Moses commanded us a law for an inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. Then he was among the righteous people, as king when the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were assembled. Let Reuben live, and not die, though his men be a small number. And thus he blessed Judah, and said, Hear, O Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. His hand shall be sufficient for him, if thou help him against his enemies. And of Levi he said, Let thy Thummim and thine Urim be with thine Holy One, whom thou didst prove in Massah, and didst cause him to strive at the waters of Meribah, who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither knew he his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they observed thy word, and kept thy covenant. They shall teach Jacob thy judgments, and Israel thy law. They shall put incense before thy face, and the burnt offering upon thine altar. Bless, O Lord, his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again. Of Benjamin he said, The beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him. The Lord shall cover him all the day long, and dwell between his shoulders. And of Joseph he said, Blessed of the Lord is his land for the sweetness of heaven, for the dew, and for the depth lying beneath, and for the sweet increase of the sun, and for the sweet increase of the moon, and for thy sweetness on top of the ancient mountains, and for the sweetness of the old hills, and for the sweetness of the earth, and abundance therefore. And the good will of him that dwelt in the bush shall come upon the head of Joseph, and upon the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. His beauty shall be like his firstborn bullock, and his horns as the horns of an unicorn. With them he shall smite the people together, even the ends of the world. These are also the 10,000s of Ephraim, and these are the thousands of Manasseh. And of Zebulun he said, Rejoice, Zebulun, in thy going out, and thou, Issachar, in thy tents. They shall call the people unto the mountain. There they shall offer the sacrifices of righteousness, for they shall suck of the abundance of the sea, and of the treasures hid in the sand. Also of Gad he said, Blessed be he that enlargeth Gad. He dwelleth as a lion, that catcheth for his prey the arm with the head. And he looked to himself at the beginning, because there was a portion of the lawgiver hid. Yet he shall come with the heads of the people, to execute the justice of the Lord, and his judgments with Israel. And of Dan he said, Dan is a lion's whelp. He shall leap from Bashan. Also of Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor, and filled with the blessing of the Lord, possess the west and the south. And of Asher he said, Asher shall be blessed with children. He shall be acceptable unto his brethren, and shall dip his foot in oil. Thy shoes shall be iron and brass, and thy strength shall continue as long as thou livest. There is none like God, O righteous people, which rideth upon the heavens for thine help, and on the clouds in his glory. The eternal God is thy refuge, and under his arms thou art forever. He shall cast out the enemy before thee, and will say, Destroy them. Then Israel, the fountain of Jacob, shall dwell alone in safety, in a land of wheat and wine. Also his heavens shall drop the dew. Blessed art thou, O Israel. Who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord? The shield of thine help, and which is the sword of thy glory? Therefore thine enemies shall be in subjection to thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. Deuteronomy chapter 34. Then Moses went from the plain of Moab up into Mount Nebo, unto the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim, and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah, unto the utmost sea, and the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, unto Zoar. And the Lord said unto him, This is the land which I sware unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, I will give it unto thy seed. I have caused thee to see it with thine eyes, but thou shalt not go over thither. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there, in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in a valley, in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor. But no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day. Moses was now 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plain of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were ended. And Joshua, the son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had put his hands upon him, and the children of Israel were obedient unto him, and did as the Lord had commanded Moses. But there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. In all the miracles and wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt before Pharaoh, and before all his servants, and before all his land, and in all that mighty hand, and all that great fear, which Moses wrought in the sight of all Israel.